number 3, do we have anyone sign up for Visitor Citizens Forum?
No.
Okay, we have nobody signed up there. I don't know of any public recognition. Dora?
Unless y'all have any public recognition.
No, I'm just employee recognition, okay. Agenda item number 5 is employee recognition. We have several folks that we're going to be honored this evening that were basically working late and need some time to get here. So I will entertain a motion to move this item further down the agenda.
I'll make the motion to move it to a later time during the meeting.
Yeah, we'll wait till they get here. We have a second? All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries 4-0. Okay, agenda item 6, consider approval of council minutes. The regular council meeting minutes from October 17th, 2023, special meeting minutes from October 24th, 2023, and the special meeting minutes from November 7th, 2023.
Mayor, who seconded? I know you motioned.
Flipper.
I didn't see any discrepancies in any of these meetings, sorry.
I didn't either.
There should be summarized, and if more details are out there.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes for October 17th, October 24th, and November 7th.
Okay, we have a motion from Councilperson Randall to accept minutes from the October 17th, October 24th, and November 7th.
Second.
We have a second from Councilman Vega. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries 4-0. Okay, before we proceed further, okay, we have an agenda item that's item number 15, which is consider an act upon golf course investigation report by the Medina County Sheriff's Department. Sheriff Brown is here this evening, and he's asked that we could possibly move this up so things can be expedited so he can get back to his job as a county sheriff. I will entertain a motion if that's an option for him.
I'll make the motion to move item 15 to now.
Item 6, wait, 7. Do we have a motion from Councilperson Randall to move agenda item 15 to agenda item 7?
Second.
We have a second by Councilperson Ritchie. All in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries unanimously. All right, just to preface this report a little bit, back at the end of July, we received information that David Grego, who owns the property next to the golf course, was benefiting from the golf course water system. And we also had involvement by one of our council people. And so because of those reasons, because of everything involved, I asked for a sheriff for an independent investigation into this issue. He spent a lot of time on it, and he's here tonight to hopefully wrap things up with regards to this issue. Randy, I hope that the mic is long enough.
I think y'all can hear me.
All right.
Good evening, Mayor.
Yes, sir.
So what we were asked to do and what we've done is to shed some transparency on allegations, rumors about water being misused from the golf course. And I had planned to have a written document for y'all tonight, but we've been rather busy, especially this week. Seems like it's been a week. So at some point I can do that if y'all would like. But
I think that would be great.
yeah, it's a lot of notes I need to transcribe over into that are handwritten. So I've talked to a lot of people, some by telephone, some in person. I've looked, we've dug holes, and the only thing I can come back to that the city may want to look at or not is a contract. But as far as David Grego stealing water, never happened. Never happened. So you look at the contract, you read the contract, I've read the contract. So if Scott had a right to or not to push water off the golf course, comes down to that contract.
So you're referring to the previous contract?
Previous contract.
With the SG Golf Management?
Previous contract.
Okay, which was, for everyone's information, that SG Golf Management had the golf course from January of 2020 through February, I believe, of 2022.
There was never a crossover that sometimes people talked about. It would be a tie-in. That water line was installed by Eddie Newman way back in 1997, 1998 onto that property. And actually runs straight to where David Grego built his house. So I can't find that it was ever hidden that he was using water. And at some point, there was a chance for the city to turn the valve off or cap the line. And at some point, there was an opportunity for him to stop using the water. But as far as a criminal act, it did not happen. He was not stealing water. Pretty simple. The line has been dug up, capped.
Right.
It actually happened a little prior to me getting involved, but we went up and it was dug up again. We looked at it. It's capped. There's no line running to that property any longer.
Right. Okay, so the line that you're talking about, that ran to a driving range that the Devine Golf Association was leasing from Eddie Newman way back in the day. And so that ran straight from it's not the back nine, but the newer nine on the north side of Jack Nicklaus. And so that water line was there and existing, but it was never terminated. There was a valve open to where it could be used, and then that's how it came about. So then the issue, and I'm just paraphrasing, would be that it was possibly covered under the contract of SG Golf Management.
Possibly.
Right.
Depending on how you interpret that contract,
Right.
which included the entire golf course and nothing outside of the golf course. So
Right.
that's past me, that's civil.
Gotcha.
Well, I appreciate you folks taking the time to get to the bottom of that for us. And you've got much more pressing issues like human trafficking, drug smuggling, and deaths and whatnot, so we appreciate it.
We got plenty of that. Glad to have looked into this. I hope it clears up. We'll put this into a written format that makes sense and by dates and different people that we talk to and
That'd be great.
statements and at some point.
Yeah, written.
Don't be in a rush.
Written would be great.
Okay.
Okay? And Randy, once again, like I said, everyone, I wanted a completely transparent view of this where nobody was influenced one way or another. All right? There's been a lot of things that have been said back and forth. For example, when I was running for election, well, after I got elected, I had 3 people who immediately complained about this particular issue. I noticed there was a well in the settling tank over on his property. I didn't see why it would be tied into the golf course water. I discounted those as rumors, and then as it turned out, there was something there, so that's why I turned it over to the sheriff. Okay? Clearly, according to Randy here, it's not enough to pursue any further as far as legal, unless the city wants to hire a lawyer. They will have lawyers that will go back and forth, and it's really a waste of time. So,
Exactly.
right?
I think it is water under the bridge.
That's a good one. We need to build a bridge over there now.
That would make it a bridge.
There's a temporary fence, we need to put a bridge over there. Yeah, so. All right, sir. Anybody else have any questions, any comments for Sheriff Brown? All right. Well, once again, Randy, I sure appreciate you coming.
Thank y'all.
And
Thank you.
at your leisure, just give us a written report.
We'll do that.
All right, thank you, sir.
Yep.
Unless there's any further discussion of this panel, we can move on without action. All right. That ends that agenda item. Moving on, we go to what is currently listed as agenda item number 7. Consider and act upon the election of the Board of Directors for the Medina County Appraisal District using the official ballot for casting your vote. Okay.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, ma'am.
On September 26th, at that meeting, Josh made the motion, I don't know who seconded it, I didn't look that up, but everybody voted to cast the 81 votes to Jerry Beck at that time during that motion, so I don't even know why this is on the agenda tonight, because we did that all in one big motion at that meeting.
I think that was a nomination, though, wasn't it?
It was not, it said nominate and
vote.
yeah, a lot, the 81, it actually specified the 81 votes to Jerry Beck. So,
I was kind of wondering the same, and I think perhaps that
It
having
could
that
very
course
well
in
be. I
minute,
mean,
but I
it
think
could-
it's just the
I
formality.
understand it's an easy
Yeah.
move because normally it's just a nomination. But since we've already done it, do we have to do it again?
I can answer that, because I did talk to Johnette. So, and I went back and I looked, because we have records every time that, every year when y'all do this. And so you're correct, y'all did the resolution for the nomination that y'all wanted to give the votes to Jerry Beck. But Johnette said a ballot still has to be done. And y'all have done it in the past where each one, after y'all cast the 81 votes to Jerry, then each one of y'all after the meeting has to sign it. And that has to be submitted to them. It's a
So we're
official
just doing it to
cast
sign it
ballot
tonight?
ballot.
Like, it's on the agenda to sign it tonight, basically.
So no action, we just sign afterwards.
That y'all will sign, but again, y'all are gonna say that y'all are casting, because this is an official ballot, y'all are casting y'all's ballot of 81 votes to Jerry Beck, because y'all nominated him, they put him on this ballot, kind of when y'all, like
We
when
have
we
to
do
do it
elections.
twice.
I'll make a motion, we reaffirm our 81 votes in favor of Jerry Beck.
And I'll second that.
All right, we have a motion from Councilman Ritchie to reaffirm the 81 votes that the city gets to cast for Mr. Beck. We have a second by Council Lady Randall. Any further discussion? All in favor? Right hand. Motion passes 4-0. Consider an act upon...
Sign it.
Let me move to this agenda item. You sent that contract separately on the Little League, correct? Dora?
Yes.
I just got to find it again. Okay.
Do you want a full packet?
I just want that contract for Little League because it came on late Friday for me or Saturday. Oh, I got it here, Dora. Okay, agenda item number 8. Consider and act upon approving the amended contract with the Devine Little League Association requested by Mayor Cook. Like I said, I got this kind of late, and then this isn't exactly what I was hoping to accomplish. And I apologize, Council. I meant to send a memo to everyone with more details. It's not a lot. It's very much similar to what we discussed at our previous regular meeting. But is Aurora here? Okay. Anyway, give you an example. Last week alone, right, I drove by the Little League after work, and I worked a little late, and I went by there 3 times, and all 3 times somebody was using the Little League park, right? One night there was a gentleman in there with his daughter with a tee on the backfield. At the same time, there was somebody else on the front field. It looked like they were playing kickball. That's great. That's what we want. Okay. And then the next night, I was a little later. It was dark, and they had rented lights from Walmart, I believe, construction type lights, and they were actually there throwing the ball. There was what appears to be a girls' team and all that, and that's exactly what we want. Okay. I personally would like the Little League field to be part of our Parks and Rec system because we do own it. Okay. And now there is historical precedence that for the Little League, it's for them to use during the time of their season, which I believe is January through July.
Kind of December through July, so we can see it.
Oh, okay.
We usually try to see it in November and December.
Okay. Okay, so you'll start like in early December or?
Like a late November, early December, we'll start seeding and watering.
Okay.
But for our first round, and then we'll try to do it again
But
in
as-
January.
But as far as folks being able to use it, they should be able to use it at that time,
As
right?
long as they stay in the infield, because all we really seed is the outfield, yeah. And
Okay.
I allowed that team that you saw,
Uh-huh.
I did allow them to come and play, and I told them, I was like, the only thing is, I was like, I
Great.
can't tell you about my lights, like, it's the only thing I have is-
Right,
is my
exactly.
lights.
Right. So anyway, I just want to make it more available for folks who live in that neighborhood because, you know, they are kind of in between the other two parks. The other parks don't have baseball fields anyway or anything like that. Or, for example, if, let's just say the Devine Youth Group would like to have a Saturday league, a fall league or something, okay, when you're not playing, I think there's no reason why we can't open that facility up for that. Okay, that's number one. Number two, because of the way the Little League operates, which is very hard. I was president down there for 5 years. I coached for 15 or so, 20, I don't know how long it's been. But it's all volunteers. Everything they do over there is volunteers. And quite frankly, when that season is over, the few volunteers that are still left, it's extremely difficult for them to handle the maintenance and everything for the rest of the year. Because everybody's going to regroup with new life come January and February with all the little kids and happy parents. And so for that reason, you know, it's surrounded by houses. I think it's important that that property looks well maintained year round. Okay, now we maintain outside the fences, but my thing is I would like for the city to maintain the entire field except when the Little League is using it on the interior. And the reason, for example, if we're going to weed eat along the fence lines on the outside, there's no reason why we can't do it on the same. There's no reason why we can't mow the inside in the off-season and keep it looking nice for the neighbors. Okay, so that's my opinion of how it should be. We own the property. Okay, it's up to us to keep it looking as nice as possible. Okay, so I would like to see that happen. All right, and then the other thing too, we own the buildings, just like the golf course, just like the other parks and recs. The other parks, we own the structures. I think we should be as involved as possible in maintaining those because it is our property. The old library building belongs to us. That's used as the headquarters and so forth for the Little League, which they still need, and they still should be entitled to use it. But we should be in charge of maintaining the structure and the building. That's what I want to say, if council agrees.
So, what I don't see in here is the explicit authorization for you folks to determine whether or not anyone else uses the facilities, lights, or water.
Well, that's, okay, let me get to that too. So, I think that should be taken off of their hands in the off-season. I think that should be under the city control, okay? Because it is our property. They use it to 6 or 7 months out of the year, and then after that, the city should be in control of it.
You haven't explicitly documented any of that in this contract, and they're still on the hook for water, so.
That's why I say I'm not super thrilled with the contract.
Okay.
Okay, you know, once again, I got this late on Friday or Saturday, and I give you an example of how I would like to see it work. Okay, let's say that you have a baseball team, a local baseball team, they may play somewhere, they may play tournaments in the wintertime, and they play year-round, by the way. They need a place to practice, they need lights to practice, okay? I think they should be able to do that, and of course, they would have to pay for the electricity being used. Now, to get around that, rather than having the Little League folks bother with it all year round, that would be done by us. So we should take over the electric account, number one. We should get it at less expense than what the Little League pays. And then the Little League will be billed each month for the electricity that they use, and they pay us. Therefore, we will have to be in charge of electricity the entire year. And I believe you were
Yes.
receptive to that.
Yes.
All right? So therefore, you get it cheaper, we're in control of it. Now the water, that's another thing we might ought to really visit. I don't know what your water structure is. I don't know how you figure out when you're going to water. I know the last year that I was the president down there, we installed an entire sprinkler system on both fields. Well, we revamped the backfields, right? And then we put new pipes and everything in the big field. Of course, that was several years ago. And it wasn't like yesterday or 5 years ago. It was probably 12, 13, 14 years ago. okay? And it has timers on it, there should be rain sensors and such. And see, the other thing too is, do you guys water any in the off-season?
No.
See,
The
because,
whole off-season, we don't turn it on at all.
yeah, because,
We have the city actually shut it off completely.
yeah, because quite frankly, in order to have your turf in the best shape it can be, it does need to be watered on occasion in the off-season, right? And our city would be in charge of that also. Just because it's dormant, just because, you know, it's not growing, doesn't mean it doesn't need moisture, so it'll look good in the spring. So in other words, completely under the auspices of the city.
I'm adamantly opposed to the city taking responsibility for any more grounds maintenance. This sounds like it's going to turn into another golf course. We're spending inordinate amounts of money to maintain some grass that someone cares about for 3 months out of the year.
No, that wouldn't be an ordinance.
I said inordinate.
Yeah.
An extreme amount of money.
Extremely, extreme. When you're talking about watering in the off-season, that's not every day, every week.
I just don't want this to snowball into fertilizing and aerating and whatever other stuff you do for grass.
Well,
Pre-emergent.
my thing would be, we would do the same thing that we already do for the 2 parks that we have,
Well, our other 2 parks don't have water systems.
okay?
All they do is come in, they do, well, we're trying to get pre-emergent put on right now, but they mow and edge
Sure.
and throw out trash.
And they always look real nice.
That's what they do for the other 2 parks.
And they open and close the bathrooms.
At the one
Well,
park, yes.
the only one park has a bathroom, okay? So, I don't see it as much moving into something a lot larger, to be honest with you. I see it as quite simple. So, if you don't want to water in off-season, fine, you know, hopefully you get enough rain in the wintertime. I'm just saying to protect your investment, to protect the grounds, that option would be there, okay? And of course, you can't just shut off the water if it's your park, because you're going to have people who need to use the restroom. Just like at the park on Colonial Parkway in Medina. So, I mean, you can. I'm just throwing it out there. Council gets to decide. But, you know, there's not a whole lot to do in this town, folks.
So I keep the bathrooms locked all year because they get trashed all year.
Yep.
And I don't want to have to clean it
I understand.
every time. So I keep the bathrooms locked. Actually, there are 2 water lines there. So there's 1 water line for the bathrooms in the small building and 1 water line for the other set of bathrooms that are really messed up, and then the parks, the actual fielding. So then I turn the one off for the fielding. I keep that one off until we're ready, like in December or January. I'll call the city, have them open it up, and then I'll turn it off when needed. And then the other one stays on all year. But like I said, I lock the bathrooms until we're ready to open up in March. I don't open them any time before because I'm not going to clean up somebody else's mess. I mean, it's...
I don't want you having to be in there cleaning up old hypodermic needles either. So I personally, I'd like you guys to maintain, especially because you want to, right? Maintain the facilities in your, as far as control on the water. That way
What do you mean?
you keep the keys to the bathroom and the building.
I do keep a key to the bathroom.
So I'm saying maintain that through this contract as well.
Like through my on-season, that's fine. I don't mind maintaining that through my on-season at all. But my off-season, I'm not gonna leave it open or anything like that. Even when the kids came to practice last week, I didn't open it for them because I only had to go open the fields. I keep the gate locked because the apartment complex across uses my fields as a dog park. And so the kids are in there stepping all over all kinds of mess, and I started locking it. And so all the fields have locks on them. So if anybody's there without our knowledge, then usually they just jump the fence.
Correct.
I'd like to see you folks I'd like to see the bathrooms just stay closed because we've had at least 4 positions on our streets department unfilled for how many years? I don't want to add more work. You guys are already out there neck deep in water when a water main breaks. I don't want to add more stuff to their plate.
Well, okay, so how do you differentiate between your other 2 city parks and this one?
What else needs done at the other city park up in the grass mode? I'm not disagreeing with.
But they have bathrooms over on the other one?
One other one, not 2.
Yeah, well, the other one needs it too.
I disagree with you.
So how do you, Pete, how do y'all handle the bathrooms over the park on Windy Knoll?
Usually PD locks it at night and we open in the morning. So
Do you have a lot of issues with the restrooms?
We leave the restrooms open, yeah.
I'm saying, I'm saying in the daytime.
In the daytime, no, absolutely, yeah. I mean, there's been times, but not very often.
And Rory, you said that for the Little League, if you left them open during the day, they would get trashed?
Yeah,
Or
yes, sir, they get trashed.
not just at night, during the
Not just
day?
at night, if I leave them open during the day, even during season.
I wonder what the difference would be.
I have no idea, but even during season.
I mean, absolutely no disrespect toward Peter and his guys, but they're stretched too thin. And then even the bathroom at the park on, when you go on Colonial, there looks like a prison cell. These guys don't, our police department's stretched thin, our public works stretched thin. I don't want to add more stuff to their plate.
With the Little League park?
With the Little League, even just having to lock and unlock a bathroom door, more stuff that needs maintained, our folks are already stretched too thin. It's death by 1,000 cuts.
I got you.
The other thing, since there was a quiet dull moment, the other thing not on the contract was the insurance.
It's on here,
The new one that we just got?
number 10.
No, it's on the old one, but the one I got only has 4 things on it.
Oh, I don't
The
have.
thing I got emailed,
There's a second page.
there is no second page on the one I got.
Oh, I have
There's
one.
3, I have 3 pages.
All right, I've got 5 pages.
I think there's a,
Okay, and,
we have Little League contract from Friday.
yeah,
Um,
it has 1 page.
I actually got two, I'm the one who usually gets one.
Huh?
You guys
So-
got shorted.
I did, I got shorted big time. I was sitting there going, we're missing a lot.
No,
Okay, so
the
then
Little League
obviously
does-
there's more on it that I don't even know about.
The Little League does maintain insurance, it's due every December.
I know you guys do, you always have, but I was saying on the copy that I got emailed,
Oh, okay.
it
It's
wasn't on there.
It's number 10 on, I have 3 pages, so.
See, another thing too that we haven't discussed, I can get by with these things, I'm just saying, you know, my personal opinion is that this should just be treated just like another city park. Okay, so everyone can use it and everyone can benefit from it, all right? But you know, you got buildings down there, you have what used to be a restroom that's been terminated. We have stuff, there's a broken window where there's wood there now. It's been like that for some time. And, you know, that stuff can be a considerable expense to the Little League. Because, by the way, Little Leagues don't exactly rake in a lot of money, okay? And they don't turn anyone away for not being able to pay. And so I just think it's our property. We should probably be involved a little bit more in maintaining it properly on all the structures. That's number one for me. So the other stuff, you know, to me, it should be wide open. But once again, if they're trashing the restrooms all the time, and all that, if it really is that big of a problem, that would be the only solution. Because you can't have a patrol officer run by all the time, check on it. I completely understand that. I'm just trying to be consistent, straight across the board.
I don't have a problem with the off-season with people using it, using the fields. They probably don't either, as long as they don't trash them up, you know, that type of thing. We had them closed because that was at their request before. This was what, 2 years ago or 3 years ago? It was
Probably 3 years
decided.
ago.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly. We have this meeting so often, I forget. But I do have a problem. I'm with Josh on the restrooms. I don't have a problem with Public Works mowing the infield also during the off-season, just to keep it down. But Little League asked us not to touch the infield, inside the
Oh, I know.
fence. They asked us not to touch it because they want to groom it their way. And our guys are going to just get out there on a mower, go, blah, 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 and nobody, you know, it's not to their specs. So I don't have a problem off-season with our guys going and doing that. It's an extra 5 minutes for them, you know, when they're mowing. To me, it's not going to be too much. It will be if we have a bathroom available, though. I think we're adding way too much on that.
So you're okay with the field being mowed the entire year?
Well, off-season, that we do both in and out. Or
Right.
I'm gonna say
Right, that's
inside
what I
fence,
said.
outside fence.
Right, in the off-season. During the season, they do the inside.
They do the inside
Correct.
because they're,
Correct.
I understand
Right.
baseball, they get a little picky on their grass, so I used to do that myself, so don't have a problem with that, but I just don't want it to overwhelm our very thin employees right now.
I'll tell you, another reason I'd like them to maintain control of the facilities, if they choose to make that a little bit more of a business endeavor, much like the golf course, and want to host some events to earn a little bit of money to help upkeep and improve those facilities, I think they should have that ability.
They would still have that ability.
Oh, believe me, we're there 6 months, we don't want to be there anymore.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
No, sir.
That's what I'm saying.
It would be nice, but no.
If you understood the Little League dynamic, I'm telling you,
And they get burnt out real quick.
come the middle of July, and it's like, and then, so it gets really tough, especially the last month or so when they go out to play the All-Star tournaments and all that, because you got the same people that were there in December, the 4, 5, 6 people, and they're still there at the end, and then when that season's over, boom. So what I'm getting right now is that we're okay with maintaining the field in and out, okay, except when they have field, okay? So that's a slight change, okay? And what about the structures and the buildings that we own that belong to us?
I have a question really quickly before we get off the field and stuff. Is there anything in particular we're gonna have to do to the field? I mean, I don't think.
No, just mow the grass.
Just cut it.
Just cut it? That's it?
Right now, the T-ball field's about
We
this
buy
high.
the fertilizer, we buy seed, we buy all that.
And that's.
And we only do it during our season, we don't
Gotcha,
mess with it
okay.
in the off-season.
So you can
Okay.
continue that if you wish. The other part's not that big of a deal. It's not that hard
Okay.
to maintain dirt and grass when it's dormant. So remember, it is dirt and grass.
Yeah.
So,
And I'm in agreement with them too. Right now, we're shorthanded as it is with PD and, street department and all that.
I got you.
Having the restrooms closed right now, but when we're at full capacity, and maybe we'll see if we can come back and see if we have enough, to open the restrooms and, see how that goes. But for right now, since we're shorthanded, I think we just keep the restrooms closed and, of course, maintain everything else. Because if you see any other Little League out there, man, we are not looking good at all. I mean, so I think we need to really fix it up.
In Natalia's defense, that's all I've got on the gloves.
Well, it's Natalia Loud of Pearsall, it's the city that runs everything, all year. And then Little League doesn't have to pay or do anything. It's city
Congo
all year.
does also. Dilly does also. Jordan, same way, yeah.
Maybe we should have talked about this during budget season.
Well, I don't
We
see
don't have
where
a
you
budget
really,
to run it this year. I mean,
No, I get
you
it.
don't have to run anything, that's what I'm saying. Okay?
no, if we were going
It's
to
just
do
the
like
field.
the other cities, and, we don't have it in the budget to fix up the
Well, that's true.
buildings. We don't have it in the
Yeah,
budget
that's
to,
true.
you know what I'm saying? Maybe it would have been nice to talk about this during budget season.
Oh, no, we got plenty of time for the next
And,
budget. But once again, we're not really asking, it's not going to involve anything much additional. And I did speak with Pete about it. He said, like, for example, the additional mowing or what have you, the curbs where grass is growing in the street and all that, wouldn't be too much of a burden for them.
Right.
Okay, I did ask him. So we're not changing anything in the budget, okay? So now when the next budget comes along, if you want to recommend improvements for what's already there, that would be the time for that.
That's what I'm saying, because we
But
were
that's-
going on to buildings is what I
Right.
thought we were
Well, we do own the buildings,
I don't think Pete says no to anything either.
doing.
see? Remember, we do own the buildings.
I do understand
Yeah.
that, but in the current contract, it was they take care of the buildings.
So-
Like, yes, they're on city property, but they take care of them. That's
Well,
how it works.
Well, I see that
That's
as,
how the contracts have
I see
been.
that as, for example, they maintain, like they use the headquarters and the office and all that. and they maintain it to where, in other words, I don't see that as replacing broken windows, replacing broken doors, and things that belong to the city. And that's just my opinion. Because, don't take this wrongly, we spend $20,000 a year on the airport to be mowed, and nobody hardly sees it. We have this part right smack dab in the middle of town. And that's why I think it's important that and you've said it before yourself, Debbie, how can we enforce our ordinances and what have you, we don't clean up our own
No,
stuff.
I agree with you on that.
So that's where I see us being consistent.
I don't have a problem with that.
No.
As long as when we get to talking about the buildings, it's not in the budget, but that's okay.
It's okay, I don't need anything on them right now.
Yeah.
I'll let you know in
But
ahead of
this
time.
is what we can
Yes.
talk about later, next year during budget season.
Exactly.
New whatevers, like, I don't have a problem helping them fix things as long as we've got it in the budget. I want to be prepared for it, that's all.
We can work to that end.
I'll make a motion, we have this contract amended to reflect the concerns brought up during this meeting and revisit next month.
Okay,
Is that okay with you?
that's fine.
And are you okay with us mowing the inside and outside during off-season?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So you're still under the same contract you've already
Same
had?
contract that we have, yes.
Until we change it up.
Until we change it up next month,
Tom
yes.
Kate's not here, but it seemed like until we change it, it's still good to go.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Well, that sounds great, guys. I think we can move on. We have a lot to do this evening, but I appreciate the thoughts. Okay, well, Aurora, thank you so much for being here. And I really think with the city and the Little League and everybody all working together, we can make things better.
Thank you for your volunteerism.
For sure.
Thank you, Aurora.
Okay.
No action taken.
Well, we have the motion.
Second or vote yet?
Yeah, we didn't have a second, but
Okay, what was your motion?
we asked
again?
Aurora if that was okay with her after you made the motion.
That we amend the contract to reflect the concerns brought up during this meeting and revisit next month.
Okay, I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion from Councilperson Ritchie to amend the contract with what was discovered here this evening and take it up again next month, seconded by Councilperson Randall. Any further discussion of that? All right, fair enough. Good work done, I appreciate it. All right, motion carries. Oh, everybody vote. All in favor? Now it carries. I did that a couple weeks ago too. So. All right. Agenda item number, do we have all the city staff here now, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay. This time we're going to go back to employee recognition. What I want to do is recognize lots of folks from our Public Works Department. I think a lot of times people on the outside don't realize everything that these guys do on a daily basis. And sometimes on a not so daily basis, they really step up and go way above and beyond what was probably asked for them or in the job description of their position. And the event I'm referring to this evening is back on, I believe, October 27th. And October 27th, we had a massive water break over at Colonial Parkway in Windy Knoll. And anybody who lives over that way, you probably were very familiar with it. The city did not cause a water break. It was done by contractors for AT&T and for the new Sago internet that's going in. But our city workers were very valiant, believe it or not, and just went way above. I'll give you an example. I heard about it, I was in San Antonio, I got stuck in traffic for 2.5 hours, but when I did get there, we had a massive hole right there at the corner on, Liebold and Colonial Parkway. We had a massive hole right there in the corner, water's being pumped out everywhere, it's flowing all over the road, and 3 of our workers were in there with water up to their necks. And we're not talking bright, clean, beautiful water, we're talking horrible, muddy, dirty water, all right? And we had several other of our guys that were running pumps, traffic control, the list goes on. And then one of our workers, okay, the other thing too is this, this hole still has water that's pressurized. There was no way to shut the water off coming from the water tower by the golf course, because we have valves up there that were basically rusted or frozen shut, frozen open, shall we say. So there was no way to cut off the water supply that was coming from there. I believe they were able to reduce the water supply that came from other places. So long story short, the hole wasn't really getting drained very well, right? But in order to get it repaired, one of our workers dove headfirst into that water, searching for the pipe, trying to get the clamp on it and so forth, believe it or not. So you got two pressurized pipes with a hole in between, water going crazy, and he was in there in the water with no goggles, no nothing, feeling around in the dark like a blind man. And I was just, I said, people don't realize what these guys do. You see them all the time around town, but this is not this occurs every now and then, These guys are down in ditches and they're doing things and so forth, and I think they really need to be commended for their actions. Now, they were there that day from 3:30 in the afternoon to 11 o'clock that night, doing the same thing over and over and over. And then, as luck would have it, there was still a slight leak that was not caused by the clamp, but more of the pipe was damaged than was expected, and I believe just yesterday they repeated the process and reclamped the lines. So at this time, I'm gonna commend these guys and present them with a certificate on behalf of our city and the city council for their incredible hard work, and just to let them know how much we really, really appreciate these guys. And I'll go on up there and call your name, and please come up. I think a couple guys aren't here. Okay, I know Simon Davila is not here. I'm not mistaken, I think Simon is our daredevil diver.
Simon's definitely when I saw him neck deep in water.
Yes, I did
What's that?
too.
I said I definitely saw Simon neck deep in water.
Yeah, so,
Like
take
he
your
needed
opinion?
a wetsuit.
Thank you so very much on behalf of us, buddy. Okay, you got it. And if you guys would hang around so they could get a picture of you, not me, you guys. Okay? Aaron Arriaga. Appreciate you, buddy. Thank you for everything. Hold on. Jose Esquivel. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it, sir. Alfonso Flores. Okay, he's not here. Alfonso?
No, he didn't make it.
Okay.
They left him in the hole.
Thanks, Alfonso, if you're watching at home. Ray Ramirez. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you, man. You got it. Josiel Ruiz. Yeah, I think I said that, right? I think they call it Ozzy. And last but not least, our Director of Public Works, Pete Sanchez. Sorry, what?
No.
You guys got to move together. Take a picture of you, please. I'm going to be united. Okay, hang on. I'm looking on the other one.
Can I get a spot? You guys in the center. Take a step over.
Anton's after it now.
Look down. I'll down before the top.
All right, their knees hurt from drinking out
Climbing
that
in and out of
water.
that hole.
That way I can picture all three phases.
Hey Debbie, would you mind sending me one of the pictures?
You bet.
I appreciate it.
Thanks again, guys.
Okay, moving on, agenda item number 10. Consider and act upon all purchases and quotes requested. Must first check the availability of this.
You skipped one.
I checked that one off already. Okay, we'll go back to 9. I'm having a fun time this evening. All right. Consider and act upon the appointment of the committee for making recommendations for zoning reform requested by District 4 Councilperson Alderman Ritchie.
All right, objective here, get different perspectives on how we can adjust our zoning and also update code. Our code hasn't been updated since the town of Mayberry was a new hit TV show. I've talked to a lot of folks who desperately want to see, a few of you folks remember that, a lot of folks really want to see some rezoning happen around here. The majority of the town is these little single family with cutouts from businesses that used to exist or different types of structures that historically existed. Then you also just get folks doing stuff because none of it makes sense. And I certainly won't complain, but we're not getting after them for their proper, with code enforcement either. So if we're gonna hold folks to standards, we need standards that actually make sense and that we can really get behind and say, yes, we do truly believe that this makes sense to enforce. If it doesn't make sense, you can't look someone in the eye and say, this is why we're enforcing it. You shouldn't have it. So I've talked to a lot of folks in town. I can't find many that are willing to get behind this because they're genuinely concerned about reprisal. So I did find several folks in the county. I found, I think, one person in the city who's willing to put their name on it. So here's my name list. I'm open to feedback. I know there's gonna be some. Let me be clear, I don't necessarily agree with, I don't think I agree with any of these folks wholeheartedly. Some of them I agree with a little more than others. Corey Thompson, Steve Smith, Carlos Garduno, Cindy Morales, Jordan Davis, possibly Fred Morales. I don't know if that's allowed because he and Cindy are legally related. And Sandy Lawler. If not Fred Morales, then another person from P&Z. I think Corey brings a lot to the table as a developer. He builds houses, sells houses. I don't love the big neighborhood stuff, but it's still something we need. So he has some valuable insights there. We certainly don't agree on a lot, but he still has a lot of value to bring to the table, I believe. Steve Smith, the guy's been around a little bit. He understands logistics. I think he'd be a great person to lead the organization, make sure everyone's heard out. And he also understands the economics behind the necessity of how you plan your zoning, as far as the cost per linear foot of road, sewer, water, etc. Cindy Morales, she's a realtor. She understands the intricacies. There's another person, she's been in this town for a long time. She understands some of the hiccups we've had, and she does see a path forward. Jordan Davis is an appraiser, another valuable opinion there. And these folks, Corey, Cindy, and Jordan, their big perspective here is how can we move houses? And it's balanced out by some other folks. Steve would be a good balance there. Carlos Garduno, just from the local church here, to provide the insight from folks who maybe don't feel comfortable speaking up in that venue, but they might speak to him as a pastor. Sandy Lawler, well, we were here for this council meeting, those are some ugly battles, and I don't think anyone had any negative intent there, but it was just poorly written code that hasn't been updated and a lot of misunderstanding. If we can write some better code and let these folks make some recommendations for planning and zoning to provide the updates, I think that's a lot better than paying a couple $100,000 for some company to give us a copy-paste from something they do for dozens of other towns across the nation. And then Fred Morales was my thought for planning and zoning. He's a relatively new business owner in town here. He really understands some of the hurdles as he's they're just trying to have flowers down his farm, 40 acres here in town. We have a lot of large lots, and I think he will appreciate the nuance there, and having a good, respectful community, at the same time allowing some space for some business.
So you have, how many positions did you just name? 9 or 10?
5, 6, 7.
7.
So would you envision having 7 positions for this committee, or would you envision adding more here and there? So essentially, a committee can make recommendations to the city planning and zoning board.
Yes.
Okay.
So, okay, so we have chatted about this, and I think we can all agree that yes, Devine is in desperate need of rezoning pretty much the entire city, just because, like you said, I don't think it's been done in a very long time. And I think there are even parts of it that were never zoned at all, is what we learned when Sandy was here.
I think they were given just a
Kind of a generic, yeah, right. So I do agree with that. So I was, just in the time that we had chatted about this, I just kind of got to thinking, I want to get this insight from people, and especially a lot of the people that you recommended, because they have businesses in the area and they're involved in the community, and I think that's really important when looking at how to rezone these things. Do we need an actual committee for this though, or could we do some sort of, like how we do the budget workshops, could we do planning and zoning workshops where we invite these people to come in and give us their perspective on things? Because we already have a planning and zoning committee. I don't know that we need a subcommittee.
I would wholeheartedly agree with you, but a number of people have strongly encouraged getting a committee to make recommendations to the committee, just to ensure that there aren't the same personalities attached to it, and those ideas aren't coming out of, say, contentious mouths. And I'll give you an example here. I've made recommendations to planning and zoning in the past before I was on council. Thank you. Next item. If Corey Thompson goes up there, I guarantee you he's going to get some pushback as well, just because there's a clashing of personalities. So if it can come from a committee with a more diverse group of people, I think it is a lot better received by said committee.
Okay.
Debbie?
I don't see a problem having a committee for a specific purpose. Like we did, when didn't we do this? A couple years ago, we did emergency management. They don't really have to get together anymore because we don't really have a thing going on at the moment. But that was instilled for 1 year, if you remember. I don't know I don't know that you were on council yet, but we did it for 1 year. Like they were a committee for a year. We could do this as a subcommittee to planning and zoning, because I think planning and zoning should be involved in this in some way. I know you got Fred there, but I think if we were to do a committee and give them the year, like do a year, 6 months, pick a time frame. I don't really care. I'm just going to say a year because that's what we did before. Give them only a committee for a specific time. They'd have to have their ducks in a row and get what they think should be done to planning and zoning, so they can all have their big discussion, and then it comes to us. Okay, I mean, not that they can't call us and ask our opinion or ask us to come to a meeting or whatever. I'm just saying, I don't think council should be 100% involved in making those, because personally, I don't know anything about zoning. So, but I'm just thinking, if you're going to do this, do it as a subcommittee to planning and zoning. They go to planning and zoning with all their changes or discussions or thought process.
Agreed that the objective would be for them to deliver their recommendations to planning and zoning, who then can make the official table slap and then give it to council to approve or
Yeah. I just want them though to be in effect for a certain period of time.
Agreed.
I don't want this another another committee that once they do this, there's nothing left for them to do.
How do
Because
you
we already have
determine-
planning and zoning.
How do you determine who's on this committee?
I've been meeting with folks for this for about 2 years now.
I'm just saying, so who chooses the committee members?
Oh, that would be council. Those are just my recommendations. I obviously don't make a unilateral decision here.
We could put out, I guess we'd have to put it in the paper or Facebook or whatever, who would be interested. I mean, these, obviously, if you've already talked to them, they're gonna put their names in the hat. But we could ask to be transparent and let everybody who, because you may not know other people that might want to be on part of the committee. And do we want it just 7 people, or we want it 10? Or do we want it 5?
Of course, I'm in favor of 5, but I felt there was a lot of talent that we could leave it on the table.
No, you're right. Yes, this is good talent. I'm not saying.
I'm not discouraging.
Okay, yeah, that's a great point. I think that's a very good suggestion. I'm looking at number 1 for me, because to me, anybody that can participate in anything that we do is a definite plus from the community. And you are correct. I know of 2 people that had asked me, once I got elected, if they could somehow be involved in something similar to this. Okay, so like everything, I think they should be considered also. I'm sure Josh agrees to that. Anybody that has something to offer, of course, I think one guy was heavy into construction, and another one was engineering, so rather than having a workshop, as Stacy mentioned, you want to make it a little bit more formal to where they can probably pay more attention to the suggestions.
Basically, let them schedule their own meetings. Keep us out of it. If council wants to attend, we can as community members, but that way we're not directing it. Just please guys get together, get us a result by no later than this date, or I guess planning and zoning get a result by this date, and then we can planning and zoning get that movement. Otherwise, it's take 10 years and never actually happen.
Okay, so the council would need to give them some kind of direction. They can't just all get into a room all together at one time and start.
Personally, if you're going to want them to go over ordinances and rezoning, that's a huge task. I would say rezoning. Give them the task of rezoning to start, because that in itself could take a while.
Yeah.
And then if this all worked out really good, then we could say, okay, now we want you to continue and start on ordinances for housing, or, pick your, we got like hundreds of ordinances, so
Yes.
I know, it's kind of daunting when you go to look for just one, but I think just giving them the whole package is that they're going to be overwhelmed.
Good leadership. That's the one thing I will press on. We do need someone who's a very effective leader and vocal enough to keep folks in check, but still drive for results.
Might I suggest perhaps you've got some input. I think everybody is favorable to it from what I can tell. Perhaps come up with something a little bit more formal that we can actually act upon at the next meeting.
I think we're going to need Tom to come up with something too, because we have to have an ordinance if we're going to have, or a resolution. Shoot, I can't remember which.
yeah.
But we have to have one or the other in order to enact this. But in the meantime, maybe we could have David, maybe put a little ad in the paper. Not a full page ad. Little ad that says we're looking for, people that would like to be involved in, and then rezoning ordinance changes. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, let's, so like I said, I think everybody's in agreement.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to have David advertise for committee members for rezoning, and possibly, do we want to put ordinances right now?
We can deliver them or have them give us deliverables of varying rates, but I think code update and reason and zoning.
Can't you just say planning and zoning?
Yeah.
But we don't want our planning and zoning committee to think that we're
We
redoing
have a
that.
board, we have a planning and zoning board that will act upon recommendations.
A recommendation committee, there, we could call it that.
Right.
Okay, now I have to re-say that, don't I? I make a motion to have David advertise for residents that would be willing to be part of a,
It's too amended to just,
I'll leave it broad.
leave it broad, not specifically residents. We got a lot of folks that are city residents who don't want to touch the 10-foot pole.
We have business owners that don't live in the city, but they should have a say.
okay. People that would be willing to be on a committee for
Planning and zoning update recommendations.
updated recommendations of our codes and
So,
zones.
okay, if I may interject, it seems like you might just be jumping a little bit. Why don't we wait until we have something a little more formal that we can act upon, and then ask.
Well, would we have to make a motion to have Tom make up a resolution or an ordinance? Okay, so maybe I need to throw that instead. I don't know. I want something to start on it. I'm with you, Josh. I'm just, if we say next month we'll talk to Tom, well, then we're looking at January, February. We're losing time.
I'm so sure.
I'll make a motion to have Tom write up either ordinance or resolution, whichever one has to be, to make the committee that will be under planning and zoning for recommendations, I don't know why I can't remember that word, for rezoning and ordinances.
Okay. Right, we have a motion, yeah, okay, I think I got it, some of it, if I'm wrong, correct me. We have a motion from Councilperson Randall to ask our city attorney, Tom Cate, to draw up a resolution
Or ordinance, I don't know which one it has to be. Okay, ordinance.
Okay, to draw up an ordinance that would create a subcommittee to our planning and zoning board and to make recommendations to that board. Close enough?
Second.
All right, we have a second. We have a motion by Debbie, second by Josh. Further discussion?
Don't put it on the ads, right? Newspaper.
I don't think you need a motion for that. He's just doing his job. I don't think you need, I mean, if you want to put that in the motion, then he puts an ad in.
Well, I didn't know if
that's
we
a
needed to
formal-
make a motion.
Yeah.
I was doing it just so it would get done.
Yeah, I think that would just fall under the normal work.
Well, now he knows we want one, so he'll just do it.
Yeah, well, you got that. All right, further discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries 4-0. Agenda item number 10. Consider and act upon all purchases and quotes requested by the city of Devine. Must first check the availability within the city. Josh, you have the floor again.
Okay, objective here, the city won't make any, and I got some good feedback from you states there, major purchases. So I guess we put maybe a number of $100 or whatever sounds like a reasonable small threshold. So if you went out, you just need a ream of paper, please just go get the paper. If you need a coupling, please go get the coupling. But if we're making major purchases, I think we owe it to our taxpayers and the businesses that pay taxes to check with them first. And if we don't get a bid back, like sometimes, a lot of times we don't, that's acceptable. But anytime we're making a major purchase, we need to get some bids for it. If you can find the product within the city of Devine for within 5% of a non-city competitor for a tax-free item or 8% for a taxable item, then we go with that city of Devine business. Otherwise, go with the better product or better price, however the decision needs to be made. Essentially, ensure through a codified process that we check with city businesses before seeking outside business.
Okay, clearly I completely agree with that, and yes, I own a business in Devine. But it has been a concern from other business owners in Devine that they're not necessarily considered sometimes for some of the projects and the things that we have going on. So I'm in complete personal agreement with that sentiment. However, I don't see how you could go with the 5% and 8%. I don't see how it would work. I'll give you an example. If it's 5% of $1,000 or 5% of $30,000, it'd still be substantial money. But I think somehow we need to get our city management to consider the local businesses, whether they live here or not, or whatever, first. That's the thing we need to get across, but I don't see how you can mandate 5 or 8%, because so many other things come into play. You might have a business here in Devine that might turn in a bid that might be the low bid, but the quality of their work may not be what we want. And all those kind of things come into play. So I don't see how you can enforce it by an ordinance. I mean, I wish you could. If there's a way to do it, heck yeah. But I think we just need to get across as council that we want to shop local. Our Chamber of Commerce wants you to shop local. Our chamber, the list goes on. Because these, especially your businesses, as I've said before, if you live in Devine and you own a business here, you're paying double taxes to the city of Devine, plus to the county and everyone else. So somehow, we need to get that across. Hey, folks, check with these people here in Devine first, unless you have other reasons not to. But you also got to give them some leeway. You have city administrator, city secretary, and they have to have some leeway to make judgments also. That was my concern on that.
That's a fair point. There's quality concerns about things like that. I've been approached by several business owners with this exact concern. They've asked I not bring them up specifically, but they feel as though they're being skipped over, and businesses in Lytle and Hondo are get the work instead, and it's not better quality.
That is true.
I'm okay with saying, please call local and see what can be done. I don't have a problem with that at all. I do think we've used quite a few local already when they turn in proposals and whatnot. Some of the things that the city buys and needs, nobody in town even makes or does, so we can't make that an ordinance. You gotta get 2 proposals from a local place when nobody around here
Well, you
makes
did
a
say
water
your thing.
storage tank.
Well,
You
those
know
are
what
the
I'm saying?
details I provided in the email.
Yeah, I'm just
If
saying, we need to say, yes, we can direct them, try local first. Like, we can, as a council, say, please, David, check local first.
Or your secretary, your treasurer, whoever.
Correct, and whoever's
person.
doing, or Pete, because I know Pete has to call for a lot of stuff. Try local first, see what happens. But I don't see how we can make sure, like, are you gonna give us an email for everyone you didn't find, or blah, blah, blah? Like, I don't want to get into that. I don't want us to be watching them about the local usage for quotes.
I hear you. No, fair point.
And I just can't think, I thought it was great. I just can't think of another way to do it, to where, it's just one of those things where you just have to just say, hey, we really want this, please do. And I guess if they go against the will of the council too often, well, then there's other recourse. So,
I'll make a motion that council strongly encourage city staff to always choose local first as it makes sense. As it makes sense.
Okay, you
Sounds
gotta
like
get
dollars.
them in. It makes sense doesn't mean budget.
I encourage, but didn't mandate.
Not seconded that.
let's say that at all.
It's no action.
Okay, do we have any further discussion on anything? Do we have another motion? Okay. Motion doesn't carry for lack of second?
I'll die.
Okay, motion dies for lack of second. Any further discussion? All right, we will move on. Great idea, though. Okay, agenda item number 11, we got an email yesterday. Agenda item 11 was considered and act upon for the Devine Volunteer Fire Department to be considered for contract and inspection services as a primary option, with Bureau Veritas being a secondary option, at the discretion of the permit requester, and Devine VFD being expected to maintain requisite certifications. This was tabled from October 17th, And we also have an email from the current fire chief, and he's requested that we pull this from the agenda again. He's going to be getting with Tom, we'll set a date for the first week in December to discuss the full capabilities and certifications of the fire department to take on these additional responsibilities. Also, the meeting, they will compile a report of the joint recommendation to the city council at that time. So I'll entertain a motion to.
Make a motion, we table this item until appropriate time to bring it back up.
Okay, we have a motion to table item number 11 until appropriate.
I'll second it.
We have a second by Councilman Pyron. Further discussion? Raise your right hand if all in favor. Motion carries 4-0. Agenda item number 12. Consider and act upon final approval of the interlocal cooperation contract between Medina County and the City of Devine. At our last meeting, we were presented with almost the final contract. City Attorney Tom Cade has some recommendations just as far as wording and such. Got it to Danny, he took it to their lawyer. Danny's the county commissioner. Everything was great. They made the suggested changes. So we just need to approve the exact final contract before I and the county judge can sign it. I do want to say one thing with regards to the interlocal agreement, and I had another discussion with Danny this past week. Slight disagreement or slight misunderstanding, probably on my part. A month ago when we were talking about this, it is a blanket contract, but that's just for like certain complimentary things and such. The purpose of this contract, the main purpose of it is the burn boot drainage project. Okay, so the interlocal where we give utilities and such and so forth just applies to the burn boot project. All right, and then the way you had it priced was in accordance with FEMA guidelines for equipment use and the like. Now in the spring, when we hopefully get to a paving project, we will need to sit back, and there was mention of that at the last meeting, okay, but we will have to sit back and make other recommendations, which was also discussed at the last meeting.
Well,
So in other words, this utilities, okay, exchange, all right, may or may not cover the paving project.
this is the one we got last meeting that we all thought was for streets and for boot. That's how it was brought to us. It's what actually it states streets and other projects, blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden now, this week, this is just to say, yeah, we're gonna have an interlocal agreement, but now there's a whole nother agreement just for Boot Creek, which is where the water payment and all that goes into effect. I'm sorry, but I'm upset that we went through this whole thing and it meant absolutely nothing in all respects.
$1,500.
That that is not
That's
correct.
gonna be Boot.
You're,
This means nothing for streets or any other project ever. So why did we go through all of that to get it a whole nother thing?
okay,
Just saying, I'm just
you're
upset
kind of
about it.
drawing the conclusion isn't necessarily correct. Okay, so if you were to go back and read the minutes from the previous meeting, you will see that it does state at that time that we would probably have to go back and discuss further projects, including the street project. Okay?
That was stated, however,
Right.
this one
So,
says streets is
it's in the minutes.
included in it.
So,
And we even said that, I was very specific about, are we sure this $4,524 is gonna be for streets and burnt boot? And the answer was yes.
the answer was
So
from me.
that's why I'm saying,
Right.
I'm a little upset about this.
Okay, that is the way I understood it at the time. And when I got back with Danny again, we talked about it. He said it is a blanket contract, but it would not include large projects like streets, okay? We would still provide materials and so forth and so on. Like I said, it was a misunderstanding on my part. but the contract doesn't say otherwise. If you were to read the contract, it
Whatever,
doesn't.
we need to get it
doesn't say
done,
that.
so
Well,
whatever.
you could be a little bit more discreet, a little bit more polite, okay? So, we're not here to bash each other. Now,
I'm not bashing anybody.
that being said, I pointed that out, okay? Now, if you read the amended contract, there's two separate ones now, and that was new to me also. I just saw that. Okay, that wasn't provided to us last week. It was all in one, was it not? So now it's two separate ones, okay? So, no matter how you slice it, we're getting incredible cooperation from the county government, from the county commissioner. It's going to save us thousands and thousands of dollars. And then in the spring, we will have to go back and make another proposal. Don't know exactly what it could be, but right now,
Can I just suggest one thing?
yes, ma'am.
Can we have David contact Danny and start the streets project interlocal agreement now? Because this one took 5 months to get, and if we don't start it till March, it'll be the end of summer before we get it, and then you're done. We can't do any streets. So
Okay.
if we start the interlocal agreement now for streets, maybe by January, or we can be lucky February, to have it, and we will maybe have chosen our streets also by then.
That is the game plan, right? And, however, we need to get this one going.
I know,
Okay,
but
and it did take a lot longer than I would have ever thought also, okay? But it's all moving now. We will be able to follow up on that, because he has to, basically just the new agreement for the streets and what have you, has to go back to the Commissioner's Court to be approved. That's essentially what it all boils down to, okay? So now, the giving reciprocation right now doesn't necessarily cover the streets. Okay, but either way, it's saving us thousands and thousands of dollars just on the burnt food project alone. So I don't think it's too much to be upset about. I think it's quite beneficial to the city of Glen.
Looking for a motion? Or something?
We have to approve the final contract so we can sign it, and then he gets the county judge to sign it.
I'll make a motion, we accept the contract.
Okay, we have a motion to accept the revised interlocal agreement and contract with Medina County.
I second.
Have a second from Alderman Vega. Further discussion? All in favor, please raise your right hand. Motion carries 4-0. Item 13, consider and act upon repealing Chapter 66-12, curfew hours for minors of the Code of Ordinances for the City of Devine. And the way I understand this is mandated by the state now. We have no choice.
Make a motion, we repeal ordinance 6-16A.
I got 66-12 on the minutes here.
No, it says 6 dash,
I mean on the agenda.
it's in section 66-12 of the city of Devine code, but it's ordinance number 6-16A.
Fair enough?
I have a question about this, because I didn't go read on it, to be honest. So, we can't have a curfew during the day, like daylight hours, but we can still have the one for the, 10 or 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. for all? I don't understand.
Yeah.
Chris, could you come up to the mic, please? No, ma'am, that's not correct.
Okay, so the 88th legislature that they passed to where all of it is appealed, daytime and nighttime.
We can't have any curfew whatsoever.
No curfew whatsoever, which really ties our hands a lot, but there's nothing we can do.
Wow.
Yes, ma'am, we're in total agreement.
For the folks here in attendance, let me read this to you. This is what we were provided. Governor Greg Abbott signed House Bill 1819 on June the 9th, 2023, which went into effect on September the 1st, 2023. The bill forbids Texas cities and counties from enforcing a curfew to regulate the movements or actions of persons younger than 18 years of age. The law was passed to grant more freedom to homeschool students and to eliminate discriminatory homeschool ordinances. The measure attracted broad bipartisan support. Emergency management curfews can still be imposed under a different section of state law. I've never seen such a thing, but hey, such are the times.
That's gonna be tough.
It is, it already is. Because the ones that are out homeschooled, they're not, what are they doing out after midnight?
Correct. I agree with you.
Yes, ma'am.
Mailboxes are gonna look like that after a while. You make the motion to, what is it?
6-16.
I'll go ahead and second that.
All right, we have a motion from Councilman Ritchie to repeal our city ordinance 6-16A, which is under chapter 66-12. We have a second from Councilperson Randall for the same. Further discussion? All in favor? Raise your hand, please. Motion carries 4-0. Agenda item 14, consider and act upon amending the council meeting procedures for the city of Devine, requested by Mayor Cook. Pretty simple. All I would like to see as far as our council meeting procedures has to do with our agenda request, posting the agenda, and so forth. As it is right now, we get our packet and agenda information on Friday before the Tuesday meeting. I personally don't feel like it's enough time for me, and it wasn't 20 years ago when I was on the council. I've spoken with the mayor of Pearsall, some folks in charge of school boards and such, and so rather, a few months back, I wanted to kind of back everything up a week, but I don't think that's going to be feasible or possible. I think that's not enough time in some ways. So what I would propose would be to move, as it is right now, we have a Wednesday deadline for example, for tonight's meeting, deadline was last Wednesday, what, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I believe?
5.
It is 5? Okay. All I want to do is back that up 2 days to Monday. And the reason why, that gives the city staff 2 more days to prepare it, where they're actually working. It gives city council 2 more days prior to the weekend to see the packet and see the information and just to be more informed. So, as is right now, you get it on Friday, so then your weekend comes along, Saturday, Sunday, we talked about it before, I'm just repeating it. Saturday and Sunday hard to do a lot of times, you got church, you got family events, the list goes on. Your folks aren't working at the city office to talk to if you have any questions. This just allows 2 more working days in order for us to accomplish some of this. And then, okay, so the deadline would be the Monday preceding. So instead of last Wednesday, it would be last Monday, still at 5 o'clock. And then the preliminary budget, agenda would be printed and sent to us on that Wednesday. Okay, with the stipulation that nothing else can be added, okay, unless the mayor and city administrators see it as an emergency type item or highly time related. So that still gives you, because the agenda will still be posted on that Friday. So you will have your 72 hours before the next meeting. I think it just gives a lot more flexibility in what we do as a council, and hopefully we can be more informed.
Make a motion, we adjust the timeline 2 days earlier for submission of agenda items and agenda creation. That's sufficient.
Okay? All right, we have a motion that we move our agenda deadline to 2 days prior.
Second.
And we have a second from Councilman Vega. Discussion.
I don't know about you guys, but I have a lot of things that come in on Mondays or Tuesday before a meeting because people know that it's coming, so they'll call, hey, can you get this on the agenda, or can you, talk about this, blah, blah, blah. I think we're going to find a lot of things we're going to have special meetings for because you can't add to the agenda the week before the meeting. That's just my opinion.
Sure.
I don't see cutting off 2 days more early is
I think
all that big a help.
I think one of the benefits would be fewer special meetings, because all too often it seems like we gather and we have an issue to discuss, and then we have a lot of questions afterwards and so forth. I think this will give us more time to be more informed to where we don't have to delay agenda items.
I desperately need the extra couple days to review things properly.
I understand what you're saying, but cutting off the deadline earlier to get on, I mean, maybe it's just gonna get people in the mode to be a week ahead of they're used to, that's all. Personally, I don't see the need, but that's okay. It's what makes the world go around.
Yeah. Dora, since you're the city secretary, okay, and you have a lot to do with the agenda, of course, do you think this will help you be more prepared and get things more informed?
I mean, we can try it.
Yeah, it's not an ordinance, it's just a procedure. Once again, I know it really helped me. Josh just said it would help him. You're just moving things back 2 days, of course, and before I forget, that would also include, I think right now we still have, Wednesdays are also for citizens, is that correct? The same as council? And we would move that back also, so they would have more time. So we would have more time to become informed on their issues. So you're talking 2 days. I personally, I myself haven't had too many short notice requests to be on the agenda. I have people talk about things on the agenda, but I haven't run into things where they've asked me on a Monday or a Wednesday. It's just always been in general for me. That's just been my experience. So we have a motion, we have a second. Any further discussion? Okay. All in favor of the proposal, raise your right hand. Okay. All opposed? All right. No abstains? Okay. Did you get it voted? Was that way? All right. Motion passes 3-1. We'll give it a shot, see how it goes.
Is that the only thing we're going to talk about on procedures?
That's all I was requesting myself.
Okay. You know, there is wording in there that should be changed because we don't do it anymore.
Sounds like a good special meeting.
Huh?
Sounds like a special meeting.
Well, we've actually already talked about it the last time we talked about all this, but that's okay. I guess what I could do is just write it up and send it, and y'all can decide on it. How's that?
Yes, ma'am.
Because there's actually wording that we don't have meetings at the city hall anymore. We have them here.
That's true.
We have, you know, it's that kind of wording.
Well, just write them down, propose them, and we'll talk about it just like we did this evening. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Okay. We've already handled agenda item number 15. Agenda item 16, consider and act upon reappointments for the Devine Housing Authority. This is done by the mayor, I believe. Is that right, Dora?
Council.
Yeah. Council, and then you would swear them in at the housing, the meeting when they have the meeting at the housing, you would swear them in.
Gotcha. Actually, if you were to look at our procedures and everything, that might be something you want to change, because it basically says that the mayor appoints. Actually, I think it's somewhere else in there. I don't like it. It's fine. I think it's all done good. It's approved by council. I have absolutely no problem with that. That might be another thing where you're talking about wording, Debbie, so that we might need to revisit.
I have to look to see. I don't
Yeah.
remember.
No, I think that's. Anyway, we have.
Does Stanley, Maria Stanley and Jim Lawler still want to be on it?
My understanding from Linda with the housing, yes.
Oh, okay.
Make a motion, we reappoint Maria Stanley and Jim Lawler as commissioners of the Local Housing Authority Board.
Okay, we have a motion by Josh Ritchie to reappoint Maria Stanley and Jim Lawler to the Housing Authority Board, 2-year term starting 2023, ending September 30th, 2025.
I'll second it.
We have a second from Councilperson Randall. Discussion? All in favor? Right hand, please. Motion carries 4-0. Consider and act upon funding for the Devine Well project. What do we have there, Dora? Dora. David, what you got?
We have Mr. Garcia from engineering firm here to brief on that item for us.
Good evening.
Pull the mic down, please. please?
I'm sorry?
Put your mic down, please. It's hard to get used to, but Randy Brown was there a little while ago, so there's a...
Oh, thanks. We have put together the plant specifications, as well as you know, for the Bay well improvements. They're going to consist of replacing the pump house, putting in a new foundation, a new building, new piping and fittings, and new electrical panels and controls. And I think the city is going to be furnishing the pump and motor for this. So we put together a cost estimate, if you have that in front of you, for this. We had gotten some costs from a couple of the local merchants to do the work. And so that's what we have. It's $150,000 approximately, plus the engineering and admin fee and all the stuff that goes with it. We put in a little bit of contingencies. For the fact we're not quite sure what to do with the microphone right now, because from what I just found out, we may have to replace the units and everything for the SCADA system in there. And so that's why we have contingencies kind of built in there, because things do come up, you know, that we need to cover. And the total I have here is $213,500 to do all that.
Is this in accordance to what we budgeted?
This is water and sewer. You know, one
Wasn't this
in the hole.
something separate though, was it not?
We knew it was coming, but we had no way to budget for it this week.
We still don't have the updates on the water bill.
I'm sorry?
We still don't have the updates on the water bill. So we're just spending.
We were waiting to hear back from,
TRW, I think. We knew it was coming. We knew this was coming. We just, I don't know that we actually put it in the budget because we didn't
No,
have
because
money
he's
in the
still
budget.
working on the proposals to
So
go out.
this has, my big question on this whole thing, I get that we have to fix it, but I thought we said, go ahead and put it out for proposal in August. I thought it was going to proposal in August, and we haven't gone to proposal yet, is what you're saying.
Right. We haven't done that.
So we've lost 3 months of getting Bain fixed.
Yeah, we had,
Well, you just said you got a couple of proposals from local vendors.
yes, to do the work. And that's what we used to put this together.
But do you have to go out for proposal again now?
What we need to do is put it out to bid.
Or put it out to bid?
Yes.
I used the wrong term. Sorry. I thought we were going out to bid in August. That's my understanding back in August, so. Darn it, now we're another 2 months away from getting started.
Yeah, this is on Dove. And so the plans and specifications are ready. They've been ready for a while. We can start, if we get authorization, we can start the advertisement starting next week in the local paper. And then we get to advertise 2 weeks in a row. And then we can go out to bids on December 14th. We start the advertising in the paper next week.
So that's what we're here for tonight? This is what it's on the agenda for tonight?
I guess.
Then I'll make the motion for us to get this started, the process, to advertise and go out to bid for Bain.
Can we amend that motion to schedule a special meeting within some amount of time frame where those bids don't expire? I understand a lot of companies don't give us bids because they end up expiring before we get around to approving
We
them.
won't have a bid till the next meeting anyway. It's open for 30 days, isn't it? Aren't bids open for 30
The
days?
bids are good for, I think, 60 days.
Or 60?
Okay,
Oh,
so
so
we
it's
need-
not till January we're gonna see them anyway.
Right.
So we need to get bids and the water rates figured out and a budget figured out for water and sewer all within 60 days.
Correct. So
And that's gonna be a whole
the,
nother, that could be on December, January's.
That's gonna have to be December's problem.
we're in communication, I'm sorry, we're in communication with the TWRA for the water rates, so that we'll be back We go out for bids, it normally runs for at least 3 weeks to 30 days, and then we'll come back and see how those packages are, and then we can talk about the financing. We do have some ways of potential financing in the budget. So everything can be completed, prepared, ready within the next 30 days.
Gotcha.
So I'll stay with my motion to have
To start the process,
GW go ahead and start the advertising and going out for bid proposal process.
okay, we have a motion from Councilperson Randall for Garcia and Wright to start the bid process with regards to the funding of the Bainwell project. We have a second from Mr. Vega. Further discussion? All in favor, right hand? Motion carries 4-0. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks, David. Item 18, consider and act upon designating a person to receive abandoned or unclaimed property in possession of this city. Chris, you want to speak on that also? Or Candy?
Or both.
Or both? There you go, that'll work.
Okay, this goes back,
Hold on one second. Mr. Mayor, where exactly in this would you like us to start? I don't know what y'all know or don't know, that's why.
I think right now,
Easy enough.
the current issue, I believe, is we have a fair amount of money that we need to know
Yes, sir.
what to do with and such, and have approval, and give you approval to do it, and those sort of things. So I would just refer to that amount of money and what we would need to do to make things work. Does that make sense?
So we're speaking, what was awarded to us was $14,000. And this is for unbudgeted items. We were looking at like laptops, 2 laptops, pepperball, blast devices, which I don't know if you know what that is, but it's the latest as far as, you know, what the pepperball actually does, where this just kind of sprays right in their face and has the same effect. But you have to have, Chris would go to school to become an instructor, and he could come back and instruct us. And then, of course, for the devices.
Basically, in a nutshell, the items asked for, there's a couple of them that were an afterthought, but everything else was during the budget process that we didn't get.
You did all of those things for $14,000?
Excuse me?
Can you do all of those things for $14,000?
We can do quite a bit of it, yes, ma'am.
Wow.
Yeah. And so then also for Chris to attend the command staff. Will you have this in front of you?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's what I'm just saying. It's just a couple items were an afterthought. The majority of them, you know, we went through budget workshop and
Yeah.
did get it. So that's what we're hoping to utilize it for.
What was the act upon designating person part of this?
From what I understand, that's legalese that came from Tom.
Okay.
Right, can I,
Yeah, I was just going to ask you, what's your take on this, David?
so the money was discovered during a traffic stop. It was confiscated by the police department, determined it was legal and not using any nefarious activity. Once that was discovered that it was not, the police department tried to contact the owner of the funds and continue repeatedly to contact them, and the owner did not show up to reclaim the money. So Tom wrote in section 18.17 of the Texas Code of Criminal Procedures that a person has to be designated from the city to take control of the funds, and then at that point the funds can be used for the city purposes. I contacted the police chief, and they gave us this list of items that the money could be used for if granted by the city council. But a person from the police department has to be designated to take possession of the funds. But it would be designated for the purpose of the list of supplies, if approved.
Would you designate the police chief or just the department?
You can designate the police chief, it says a person, so.
As it says a person. Okay.
And she would be a representative, of course, of the city, to the police department.
Are we approving this for a singular event or ongoing?
One singular event.
Singular event.
Okay, so we're not going to make civil asset forfeiture a mainstream of revenue.
No, this is this particular event.
Okay. All right, I'll make a motion. We appoint the police chief, Candy Benavides.
Okay, we have a motion from Councilman Ritchie to appoint Police Chief Benavides to be the designated person to receive abandoned or unclaimed property.
Yeah.
Second by Councilperson Vega, Councilman Vega. Further discussion? The only question I would have is, I'm sure it's fine, but you have a police background, so the things they're requesting are good for you?
Yes, sir, absolutely.
Perfect. All right. Any further discussion? All in favor, please raise your right hand. Motion carries 4-0. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Awesome, yay.
Yeah, we'll take that. Wonder why you never showed up.
They didn't want back to 14 Gs.
Yeah, there's something wrong there.
Right.
You don't want to play your own money.
If they want to use it in an illicit activity, okay. Great.
You changed your phone number?
Okay, consider an act upon changing the December 19th, 2023 regular council meeting to December 12th, 2023. My first thing would be, is this customary that we do this around Christmas time? Okay. I could go either way personally.
I mean, this year it comes on the 19th, which is not as bad as other years. Usually it's like
Yeah.
closer to Christmas. I'm fine with changing it. Because I know a lot of people go out of town that week. I mean,
School's out.
then school is out. I'll make the motion to change it to December 12th.
All right, we have a motion from Councilperson Randall to change our meeting date, the next meeting date for December to the 12th of December, rather than the 19th, which will be your third Tuesday. Now it's the second Tuesday of December.
Second.
Second by Councilman Ritchie. All in favor? Motion carries 4-0. Informational items. I just have one myself. I'll be brief. Last Tuesday, I attended a I-35 feasibility study put on by an advising firm in TxDOT, along with the mayors from Lytle Battalion. Long story short, they're starting the process to expand and improve I-35 from 410 south past Dilley. Believe it or not, this is actually very dangerous. Compared to national standards, this stretch of highway now is pretty dangerous. I wouldn't say it's overly dangerous, but it is above average as far as fatalities, accidents, and so forth. So this study is starting what they would hope to complete in 10 years. That's how long it takes for things to happen with state money and so forth, federal money. So it's just a feasibility study to get the input and so forth from local folks. Some of their goals are to increase I-35 to 3 lanes going both north and south, and they have a continuous access road on both sides that would connect Devine, Italian, and Lytle. This would be a great safety measure for everyone. So now, as you well know, if you lived here long enough, when they have something that happens on the freeway, all that traffic gets diverted right into the middle of town, tears up our streets, messes up our traffic, and the list goes on. Same thing happens to Natalia and Lytle. So that's going to be one of their safety priorities. So it would be, once again, the access roads and adding lanes to I-35. And then some of the other things are to, as is right now, you know how there's that bridge over there in Natalia by Love's that goes over the freeway? They want to reverse these things where the freeway goes over like we have it here in 173, because it's considered to be a lot safer that way. And that's another thing. They will rebuild the bridge in Italia to go the other way around, whatever else they run into. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. You know, they give a lot of statistics about things and so forth. But to start in the process, one of my things was that we sure could use a little bit longer access road to get on the freeway up here from Brown Chevrolet. I don't know about you, but there's been times where 2 tractor trailers are coming and I run out of room.
That's dangerous, actually.
Very much.
I've seen a lot of accidents right there.
Right.
It's bad.
So they asked about some of those things too. So I mentioned that. And then the other thing was, I was sitting text out up for sidewalks. We're going to take it up again because there's going to be monies available later on this month or actually in early December, a meeting with the county. And my biggest thing was, if you look at 173 right now, they're adding more to it, is why in the world did they not include sidewalks on that project where they got all the drainage culverts and all that? And the guy said, well, we just didn't have enough money at the time. But now, Lidl's getting all kinds of sidewalks over there, the new access roads, and nobody walks on them. We got people tiptoeing all to Walmart all the time up here, every morning, and I can't get sidewalks for us. Okay, that'd have to be in the next go-around of some sort. And he said what they could have done was have basically an underground culvert that would be covered with sidewalks, but they didn't have the money to do it. And the other thing too, you got to understand about when you talk with TxDOT, and I was forewarned by other people that have been in government for a while. You don't ask them to help you with economic improvements because they don't care. All right, but you have to hit them hard on safety. Okay, so the access road that we have going south up here, and it ends, and then there's a sidewalk there that goes to nowhere. Okay, I asked about that, and the answer was, well, years ago, don't know exactly when, I don't know who was here on the council, but they had an agreement that access road would go so far, and then the city of Devine would take it the rest of the way to where our property up there could be developed. But the city of Devine, and this goes way back, well, nobody here tonight either didn't have the money to do it or chose not to do it. So if we want to basically wait until they do all this access road kind of thing, and if not so near future, if we want it done before then, it's something that we would have to fund ourselves. And the other thing too, on the access roads, by the way, they're going to make them all one way. Okay, so they have a lot more turnarounds, a lot more use, and they consider that to be considerably safer for obvious reasons. So when they do connect the three towns with access roads, they'll be one-way streets. Which is fine, as long as you have it.
As long as you know it's one way.
Yeah, oh, yeah, exactly. So anyway, that being said, I did ask about some things that were of a big concern for us. No resolution there, but we have another one coming up with the county commissioners and such here before too long. Anything else? Yes, ma'am.
Oh, you have stuff? Go ahead.
So, first one I got is the region putting on a daddy-daughter dance. Can I have them come up and give better explanation than I can?
Of course.
Come on down.
You waited. You deserve it.
Hello, everybody. My name is Sandra Reed, and for a long time I've been wanting to do something for the community, for our younger folks and even for us, but something that's fun. My husband and I, we've done a lot of contributions for the homeless. We go to San Antonio. We try to be as active as we can in church. I finally went out on a limb and tried to do something for the community. I'm trying to do a nonprofit organization. I'm in the process and I'm in the learning stage as well on what I have to do. And my first event is going to be a daddy-daughter dance provided for Devine. The money that we raise from each event that I have will be put into a fund and be distributed to Devine or the surrounding community for any type of help. God willing, throughout the years, if this would continue, if it's successful, I'd like to have scholarships, things like that we can put back into the community. But I do really want to focus on the young people, especially our teenagers. I feel like we're so disconnected because of technology. People don't even sit down and have dinner anymore as a family. So in between my big events, I would like to have some sort of a teen night, whether it's games, anything just to bring us together, get them off the streets, something that's fun, more Christian-based. And my goal really is to focus on these young people. I know y'all were talking about the cutting the grass at the baseball field, but my intention is to try to get to know these young people and see what their goals are and see just, how they feel about volunteering their time. So that we can, one of my big pet peeves is going to Walmart and these truckers that come, there is so much trash that's right between the road to Walmart and that electric place. But, I'm trying to put it in people's hearts to give, volunteer, so that we can pick up trash, we can cut grass for elderly people, we can sit with elderly people, visit, anything like that, anything that we can do in the community to just help people. I go out of my way, out of my own pocket to try to help people, especially the elderly. I have a soft spot for elderly. I cook for them, I take food to them, and really just spreading the word of Jesus. That's why I'm doing it, just to show the hope that I have in Him and the love. I'm very passionate about bringing people together, and I'm hoping that I can do this and maybe somehow have support from the city, not financially, but just kind of getting the word out there. I'm really, really new to all of this nonprofit stuff, and I know a little bit about Mission Divine, but I know there's a lot of organizations. Maybe you can kind of get me together with the right person to maybe get some ideas so that we can do something for the city to bring people together.
I think that's great. It's wonderful that people step up like that. And I'm
I
sure.
think it's about time.
Well, I think, you have a lot of people that didn't do it too, but you could always have 1 more, 5 more, 10 more, so I think it's wonderful what you're trying to do, and I would think that anything that we as a city can do to help you, is something that we're allowed to do, we should definitely do it.
I would like, if any of y'all know anything about, for me, it's just, I don't like reading something to try to understand it. I'd rather sit with somebody that has done it or maybe knows the ropes a little bit. Maybe you know of somebody that's into the nonprofit that would be able to help me get everything started. The daddy-daughter dance, because I'm not nonprofit yet, but I did go and I'm legal as a business, so to speak. And that's what I'm doing it, but those funds are going to be for a nonprofit. So I would appreciate any help or input at all from any of you, or if you know anybody that would be able to help me and just guide me along that way to get my nonprofit.
I think one of the best places to go, you mentioned it a couple of times already, is Mission Divine. It's one of the most successful nonprofits that we've ever seen.
Todd Summers?
Oh, Todd, and then Pat Boursier was one of the big
Pat, too, yes.
years.
Okay.
Pat is incredibly knowledgeable about all these things, especially, I'm sure Todd is too, but Pat has really been involved for a long, long time. And he's a great guy. I guarantee you he'll
And
bend
that's
over
the guy I
backwards
need
to
to
help
talk
you.
to.
Oh, for sure. I got his number.
Works over to you.
He used to sit here, by the way, along
This
with.
is the first time that I've ever been here, and
Okay.
y'all bring up some interesting things.
When is the daddy-daughter
It's
dance?
Saturday, December the 9th at the VFW.
Okay.
What time?
What time?
5 o'clock to 9. There's going to be food, and I have games and
Is there a
activities.
flyer on that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
You want one? I can get you one.
yes, please.
Yes.
Sorry, what was the time again?
5 to 9.
5 to 9. And is there like an age limit?
Good thing you has 4 to 12.
4 to 12.
Yes. And it doesn't have to be daddies. It could be the grandpa or an uncle, whoever the father figure is.
Great.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Well, thank you for
Thanks a
coming.
lot.
Thank you, for sure.
All right, I've got a whole list of other stuff to get through here.
Oh, you do? All right.
Oh, really?
I'm
Go
sure
for
you
it.
do too.
Yes.
Go for it, Josh.
Okay, something to think on, probably requesting it here in January, but if we were to put parking meters for the trucks next to Walmart, instead of simply banning them, we'd have a higher probability of actually generating some revenue instead of just saying no, and then you can't effectively enforce the no parking ordinance. So $20 per slot, approximately 6 slots, I can generate $40,000 a year. Maybe.
Informational.
It is informational.
Okay.
Dora, can I get an update on, or David, on Sego Internet paying for that damages from that water main burst? I don't want the city paying for their mistake.
They're not gonna pay for it. They're gonna pay for their mistake. The city's not gonna pay for it.
Okay.
I can assure you of that.
Would that be AT&T though, actually, or Sago?
Excuse me?
Would it be AT&T or Sago?
However, they have the contract. Sago's a subcontractor, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
I think it would be AT&T.
Yeah, however Sago and AT&T works it out, they'll pay the city for the repairs that we had to occur.
Good.
In addition to property damage for the house that were impacted by that water as well?
That's a personal, private issue between the contractor and the homeowner. We can't.
I just want to make sure the city, because I mean, we were pumping water.
Or the homeowner would have to go after AT&T.
Right.
Okay.
We couldn't be in the middle of that.
Just as long as we're not saying, okay, here's dollars.
I like that.
Good news.
Do we have an update on the airport cost?
We do have an update on the airport costs. If the airport, the city was to sell the airport, they're required to pay back all the grants.
Yep.
And that total is $1,899,881.
$81, okay.
So $1,899,881 worth of
$2
grants.
million.
Oh, no, we still got $1 million bill on $233 million. Would that be, does that include certificate of obligation we have?
No.
No, these are the grants that the city has received from
So about $3 million.
1.8 million.
I guess really what we would need, although this should probably be let's have this as an agenda item in December, now that we have numbers. That way we know.
Yep.
Okay, good.
It's informational.
If you wish to pursue that. Okay, move on.
That's good. Is it question for, I guess, Tom, whenever he gets back, or to push over Tom? It was brought up to me, there are questions about the constitutionality of our livestock, and specifically our chicken code, with the constitutional amendment that was just passed.
What?
All conventional farming practices, and we have 10 chickens, and a certain amount of land you have to have. How does a constitutional amendment go into that, and is our code specifically regarding livestock still legal?
Tom, look at that.
Right. Cover TRWA. Last thing, it's a long one, sorry. 17 November, Long Beach City Council had to declare a local emergency until 5 December due to a cyber attack. We're all at risk, and we need to do more to support our national defense against Chinese cyber attacks. As a city, we need to provide resources for youth and young adults to improve their network security skills and encourage Cyber Texas has part of the solution. I'd ask everyone to think about anyone you might know who's interested in supporting the community through education of technology, computers, cybersecurity, etc. And please point them my direction, because I'm working with Cyber Texas now to bring a program out here. I would also ask that we coordinate with or request information from Langford and Associates about any grants that the library can get, or the city as a whole, to fund more learning equipment, more computers, essentially a lab that we could host a Cyber Texas program for our local youth, not just at ISD, but homeschoolers, private schoolers, and anyone around the area who might want to get some of those skills and make the library a center point of learning and more community engagement. So.
When you say looking for people, do you have specifics on what you're looking for? Like, what is it that you're gonna would have them do?
So right now, I'm trying to collect laptops, computers, etc., so we can put some images on that. They give you free images, you just put the software on it, and then you need folks who understand Linux, Windows, servers, Cisco. I could go deeper, but It's actually computer stuff.
Send me an email on this, please.
Okay, will do.
Okay, thank you.
All right, anything else under informational items?
I have one.
Yes,
I have
ma'am.
two, because you did, I had the airport on there too. I'm just asking how code compliance is coming along with the fee schedule for the permits and inspections. And if it's moving along, or do you need help? Do you want me to come help? I mean, I know how to type, just want to make sure, because we want it back by January,
She has it
so
ready.
we're on track then?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, I have one more thing. No, I have two things, sorry, I lied. The other thing was, we received one proposal for the repairs on the hangars for the airport. Did we get another one yet? Are we gonna get another one? And should this also be something we need to put on the agenda next month? Because we gotta get these things fixed.
We had a guy go out there today to give us a proposal,
Awesome.
and he looked at it, and he said he could not give us one
Oh,
because it's too much.
oh my goodness.
I asked him just to give us, something close, and he said he could.
Are we gonna have to get out there and paint it ourselves? And I have a broom.
I was hoping I could get
You
something
get
else.
David to come out and do the plumbing, and come on. Okay, I'll just ask for it to put on the agenda for next month, so we can talk about it.
Gotcha.
My last thing, Wreaths for America, Wreaths Across America, I'm sorry. I know if you've read the newspaper or anything on Facebook, you've seen some advertisement for it. It's coming December 16th. Current Events Club is in full gear right now. I did put a little flyer up on the table. Don't know if that was allowed, but I'll beg for forgiveness if it's not.
Yeah, I missed it.
Yeah, so they really want the public to be able to come and honor veterans. The actual buying of the wreaths is over with. This is just they're gonna have the big thing like last year where they have a ceremony. And there's a whole big deal about how you put that wreath on the veteran's grave. And I was involved with it last year a little bit. I'm much more this year. It's a very humbling experience. Just saying. But they are looking for, if you want to be involved in it, on December 11th, they're having a leadership type meeting at the VFW. If you want to be more involved on the day of the event.
What is the day of the event?
The date of the event is the 16th of December. And then on the 11th, the Monday prior, in the evening at 6 is the meeting. If you want to be involved and be a volunteer that day, to come and please be happy.
They asked me to speak up.
Yeah. So, anyway, Wreaths Across America, I might bring that up next time too, just, because I want everybody to go.
Any further informational items?
I'm done.
Okay. At this time, sorry.
Mr. Garcia has some items to brief regarding city engineering.
Okay, go right ahead, sir.
I think,
We will be forward.
needs a break.
I know. Hold on, hang in there, buddy. Almost there. Yeah.
I just wanted to give you an update on a couple of the projects that are going on right now, so that you know where we are. On the water distribution improvements phase 1, part 2, as you know, we're approximately 1 year into the contract with Cromex on the construction. We have submitted a change order report to the Texas Water Development Board to add more work that we need to have done, and also to add more time to the contract for that work to be done. We submitted that about a month ago, and we're still waiting for a response from the Texas Water Development Board. I did want to let you in on what I heard from Chromex, that they right now have maybe 2 weeks worth of work left to do. And they are waiting for this change order to come through and be approved, or else they're gonna have to demobilize.
Oh, God.
Yeah. And wait for the change order to come through, and then they would have to remobilize, which is gonna cost a lot of money. And so I thought I'd just kind of let you in that that's what's going on right now.
Did we do all this in a timely manner?
Oh, yes.
And it just takes that long to get them to cooperate with us?
Yes, we communicated with them as soon as we submitted the change order, what was going on, and that they need to speed this process up. And so they got the message, but the action on their part is what we're waiting for. And I don't know what that's going to be like, because it's historically they've been really, really slow and behind.
And they only have 2 weeks worth of work.
Right now, yes, 2 more weeks of worth of work to do, and then,
They would have to move everything elsewhere.
yes, they'll have to demobilize if we don't hear anything back from the Texas Water Development Board.
Do we need to get the senator's office involved again?
We had the congressman, the U.S. representative, and the senator's office involved. Remember the last time?
That's what I'm saying, do we need to call them and contact them to get a fire under their selves to get it done for us?
Idea.
What's the cost going to be for the demobilization or remobilization estimate?
I talked to Chromex today about that, to give me a ballpark estimate, and they said it was going to be around $60,000 to remobilize.
How much?
$60,000.
Oh. We need to get, you guys need to start calling them, get the Congress guy. I'm just saying, this Texas Water Board has caused us a lot of headaches.
I know that they're extremely understaffed. And,
I don't care.
Yeah, that's what they tell everybody. Yeah. So that's where we are. The project right now, it's about 84% complete on the original contract. Now, when we get this change order approved, it's going to extend the time and the amount of work that's going to get done. So of the original contract, 84% of that is done already.
Of phase one.
Phase one, yes.
And this will finish phase one though, when it gets, the change order goes through and they get that all finished, that's the end of phase one, correct?
That is correct.
Do we have phase two all set up so that we can get that to the board to start? Because that's always been like 4 or 5 months for them.
That's one thing I need to talk to you guys about too. This project has cost so much money because the amount of money that was funded back in 2016, 2017, it's just not going to get you very far post-COVID. The prices have more than tripled on everything. And so what's happening is we're having to dig into the monies that were set aside for phase 2, for phase 3. It's being pushed to this phase to finish it. And so we don't know if there's going to be any money left over to do phase 2 and phase 3.
So $9,900,000 has almost all been spent already versus for one phase.
Yes, this includes what happened with Trian, the previous contractor, and them having to go back and correct all the problems that happened with that. Because Chromex's job was doubling up what they had to do, plus the price increases from prior to COVID to now. It's been crazy. We did provide the Texas Water Development Board a cost estimate of what it would cost right now to do all the phases of the project that originally were supposed to be done for the $9.9 million, and it came out to around $29 million. And so that's to you'll get an idea of what the costs are, and
how are we ever going to finish this?
And so we're going to have to hopefully.
It'll take years.
get some more funding from the Texas Water Development Board, if they'll allocate some more monies to the project. I don't know, but this is something that's affecting a lot of construction projects that were started back in 2016, 2017, and are going on right now. And so that's where we are.
Do we know the implications of us not completing stage 2 and 3? Other than the EPA comes in and, I guess, it takes the city from us?
No, I mean, the whole thing is about TCEQ. They come in and they look at your water tests. They see what's in the water, and they can ding you if, the percentages go up on one, or whatever's in the water, and they will ding you like we got dinged for asbestos, I think, a few years ago. And that's why this came up. And the city does happen to have a lot of asbestos lines. And so phase 1 and phase 2 were supposed to be addressing that. Phase 3 was to address the asbestos transmission line coming from the Edwards well into town. Actually, you have dual lines coming on each side of the farm road. We have one that's been kind of built piecemeal through TXCPG projects as time goes on. This last one we had, the monies were like prior to COVID, and we thought we would get X number of feet done with that money, but that after COVID, it shrunk down to maybe 20% of what we wanted to do with it. It's just ridiculous, the cost increases. And so...
So they would need 20 million more dollars to borrow to maybe get 2 and 3 done.
Yes, to get 2, 3, and all the lines in the city, and then the transmission lines. The transmission lines are the biggest cost, because we're talking about 2 lines that are running parallel on each side of the road, all the way up to the Edwards wells.
How are we going to do that? Gee, David, welcome.
So that's where we are. Hoping that we can get more money allocated by the Texas Water Development Board, because they all know that the costs have significantly increased, and the money that they did allocate to us is not going to get us very far nowadays.
Can some of these COVID impact grants go towards this? I would say this is an impact of COVID. All the inflationary spending, but neither here nor there. Could we apply some of that COVID grant money to something like this?
That would be a Judy Langford question.
Oh.
There's significantly more COVID money that just keeps coming out.
Yeah.
Well, we need $20 million.
Yeah, I don't know if it's that much, but, okay.
What other exciting news do you have for us?
Well, at least I have one thing that's positive.
Okay,
Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
We have the generators project that came out of the emergency preparedness plan that we did after the big freeze. And we should be getting those 2 generators anytime now to be installed at the football field site and at the Edwards well number 2 site. So that should be anytime now. We're just waiting for those generators to come in and to get those things operational and ready.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so that's
Just
really...
time for winter. Yippee.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
And
What else, guys? Because Mr. Vegas staring at me. Great.
that's all I have.
Okay, all right.
All right.
Okay, at this time, that completes the regular part of our agenda. So at this time, we'll take a 5-minute recess, and then we will go into executive session when we come back.